Hey heroes, welcome. Wow, is all I can say. As let's just describe. I'll describe the events. The events of today.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm scrolling around on Twitter, and I click on Twitter, and I see some people retweeting something. I'm like, what is this? And I click on it, and it's like, oh, Watt on Prime, Wheel of Time
Yep.
on Prime Twitter account has released something. I was like, what? And so it is an audio clip. It's 16 seconds. You did a reaction to it, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming everyone has already seen it because it's only 16 seconds.
Yeah.
There is like some noise, and you can hear somebody say, "Are you ready?" No, me either. So I text Ez and I'm like, oh, code red. We got it. We got
Yeah.
to
Right.
tease it here. We gotta get on YouTube right now. So Ez got
Right.
home before me, just because of the time zone difference. And busted out a reaction there. But now we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown. You know, first and foremost, let's talk about the thing itself. It's kind of the swirling image. It's got, the yin yang symbol swirling, which is cool. It looks
Yeah.
very much like water.
Yeah.
And then we just hear the voices at the end. There's all this commotion. So, thinking about it and thinking, wow, this is the first season, right? And we think that it's going to end at the Great Hunt. I mean, is this like the end of the season? Because I'm trying to think of when else they would have this large of a battle or something, and the only thing I can think of is that might be episode 1, in which, hey, the Trollocs are attacking and we got to get out. So are you? I think it's either episode 8 or episode 1 audio.
Yeah. Well, and I was actually thinking. So some people were kind of talking about, the timing of this. They're back filming the last 2 episodes, and could it be, something at the end? Did they just quickly turn around and say, let's keep the hype going and upload that? Or is it something that's been sitting there that they produced and they said, let's just pull something real quick, from something we had back in the can before the closure, right around the time of the closure? And I think it's something. I don't know. I don't know if it's early or if it's
We just did the episode. We just did an episode the other day, a YouTube video where we showed the set photos, and the set photos are clearly, it's like Valdara. We're talking the end of season 1, man. We're talking Great Hunt level. I mean, the horn's about to sound. Okay.
Yeah, and that is what is kind of wild. Are they going to shift things around? Is that Rand getting prepared to go into the Blight and then find the Eye of the World? I mean,
Right.
That's what I was kind of like, oh man, what all are we going to be doing at the end there? Because if that means basically we're not going all the way to the end of the Great Hunt like we kind of thought we might be doing, like no battle in the sky with Balsamon. I mean, it might just be because the only 2 major like if you're talking right there at the end of the Great Hunt, I mean, that would be the Shan Chen, right? And that would be the White Cloaks fighting, and you'd have that battle going on, and then you're sounding the horn, and we're bringing the heroes into the horn. But I don't think they, from the set, like the photo leaks, it doesn't look like they are going that far. And so I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it being more of a Eye of the World, because there was this still Tarwin's Gap is there. And remember when Rand kind of at the end of Eye of the World is just, he's transported away. Boom, he hits the gap, and there's all those Trollocs and men fighting, and he just is right there in the midst of it. But Egwene wasn't, there. Right. And so I don't know if that is, by the way, we were also talking, who is that? I mean, who are we hearing?
Right. I mean, I think it's Rand and Egwene. I think that's I mean, I think that's who it's gotta be. Your first tease is needs to be.
Yeah. The crazy thing was I went and tried to listen to audio clips of those actors. Right. And it's nuts. It's hard to find some for certain of the actors. And I'm trying to listen to, I mean, one of our actors just says the word no. Right. And I'm like, oh shoot. What is that? Are you ready? No, me neither. Okay. For what? I mean, ready for what? What is it that those 2 characters will be about to do in the midst of a battle? You know?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. for me to break it down. One, are you ready? No, me either. Well, that to me makes it seem like it's very unlikely. Like that's Moraine speaking. I mean, Moraine is not the type of person to be like, I'm not ready. Nynaeve, again, I think I put her on the outside because unless she's talking to Lan, and Lan is not going to say no. So
right, exactly.
I think it's got to be Egwene and Rand, and then that raises all kinds of questions in my eyes, because I'm starting to think, as we've still yet to get an Elaine casting, I am starting to think that season 1 they're going to push the Rand Egwene romance a little bit further, and that it will be the whole season. Because we talked about this. We did an episode where we were talking about Lan and Nynaeve's kind of relationship starting. And we're like, it's going to be really awkward if like episode 5, if that is, the first quarter of the Great Hunt, when she goes into the trials and she sees a future with Lan, like she just met this guy. So that might be kind of, that's going to be, that might, and she, unless she leaves with the group in episode 1, like she goes along with them, not like she meets up with them later, then you might so it's like she shows back in episode 3, and then however you want to do it, I don't know, it would just be kind of weird. So I think they're going to push that Rand Egwene idea of a romance further to the end of the season, and then season 2 was when, okay, maybe they'll start to, because even in the books they're still thinking, hey, we're like sworn to each other, even though they're beginning to meet other people. Right. But I think that they might lay that a little bit heavier, because to me, I think that's episode 8, the audio clip, and it's Rand and Egwene doing stuff together. So
yes, okay, so
I think they're gonna go a different route in it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Actually, I think okay, based on the audio clip, everything that you just said about their possible relationship and where we're going to go here for season 1 in 8 episodes, I kind of think the people were speculating on how far into the book series we were going to go in season 1, and I kept saying it's a lot to say. You're going to cover new spring material, and you're going to cover Eye of the World, and you're going to cover the Great Hunt in one season. There's no way. I just don't think you're going to do that. And so now, seeing some of the leaked photos that we had from October, hearing the audio clip, hearing that it's possibly Rand and Egwene, maybe somebody else there can confirm that. I mean, I don't know if that's whatever. In the comments, let us know if you know who that is, or you're pretty confident in who those individuals are speaking in the audio clip. But that tells me we're right at the end of the events of the Eye of the World. We wouldn't be like where we're at right there. I don't think would be necessarily all the way
at the end of the Great Hunt.
Yeah, not even close to the Great Hunt. Not even at the very end of the Eye of the World. It is like when people said Faldara in Shinar. I mean, the only thing that's happening there is you kind of have, they're getting ready. They're marshaling their forces. They're going to strike against the Blight, and then Rand and company. Moraine and company actually go to seek out the Green Man and try to find the Eye of the World because of their need. Great need drove them there. The type of battle that we heard in that clip is not one in which, I mean, like Egwene, I'm trying to think of when Egwene would have been in that situation where she would have heard that as well. Because I was thinking about the Ways, Trollocs.
See,
that's why when you said Winter Night, I said, holy smokes. It actually, I mean, like, maybe it's the very beginning,
Right. I mean, the only other thing, if it is the end, which they're filming the end, and there is that one set photo that was leaked where we can't really see who the woman is, but she's clearly standing next to Rand. Yeah. We think it's Egwene. I think that's where you and I are at. But we don't necessarily know because she's turned away. Unless they just change it. I mean, there's nothing to say that they won't drastically change things. We've talked about the idea of, I don't think they're going to lose Tom Maryland in season 1 like you do in the books, right? I think he may stick around, and you may lose him later, because if you were to lose him, you'd lose him episode 2, right? And so, or end of episode 1, maybe, who knows? So I think they may, I'm starting to think, I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing that it's going to be so different or anything, but it's just, there's just too much ground to cover. Now with the new spring content, I will say that I don't think it's a season 1 is going to be, it's going to be books new spring 1 and 2. I think that new spring content will be sprinkled throughout the whole thing, because it's it's a pro. So I mean, I think we'll get a little bit here, a little bit more here, a little bit more here.
Flashbacks, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they're like, oh, we have to do new spring this season. No, I think new spring is, we're gonna get it as we go. And that'll be the case. And again, there's freaking 15 books, right? And so we've talked before, the episode titles I think really threw us off, because I did think that you and I had kind of a good plan where we said, I think we're going to get to the middle of the Great Hunt, and then some books are shorter, some books are bigger, and you'll kind of move it around and it'll kind of work out. And we thought maybe season 1 a great place to end season 1 would be like the Horn of Valier is stolen, and it's like, oh, crap, like now we have to go get it back, and that would be a great place to end. And then we saw some of the episode titles, us and the community, and we started to shift our focus. But now I think maybe, I don't know, maybe we need to shift it back, and it's not going to end. It's not going to be 2 books a season, which again is a very aggressive pace, considering some books are shorter and some books aren't. I mean, in our podcast right now, we're in the Shadow Rising, which is huge. It's huge, way bigger than the Dragon Reborn. I mean, the Dragon Reborn's a smaller book. It's like 50 some chapters as opposed to 70 or 80. So I mean, they're just different. Each book's different.
Yeah, and actually in each of those books too, I mean, even if it's they cover so much ground. And one thing that Rafe Judkins said, it was back during that Jordan Con, was that when you look at the locations, the sets they would have to build to really kind of parallel all of this, it's insane. I mean, it seems nuts to say this, but like if they're searching for the Horn of Valier and you're looking at maybe things that could happen, there is some stuff that happens in, God, I hate to say this, but in the Great Hunt that really you could just weave in and maybe not do it in the exact same order. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's say maybe you go, I mean, what's to say, hey, you don't find the Horn of Valier in the time in which you need to blow it, right? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, okay, now we just kind of took the end of the Eye of the World and blended it with the end of the Great Hunt. And, instead in the middle, we kind of say, hey, maybe the Eye of the World stuff, end of the Eye of the World stuff doesn't necessarily happen, and we can push it back. And so Rand then has to use the power at the end of season 1, which would be epic, using the power and blowing the horn. That'd be crazy. Sure. And then instead we kind of go, back to Tar Valon, and hey, some of the girls are now kind of learning, and then you bring in the stuff of maybe Rand is the Dragon Reborn stuff right there in the middle, and then they all leave because they want to go figure something out. I think this whole idea of they're going to be doing 4 episodes a book, which a lot of people have said because of the way things are titled. I don't know. I think you could go at a pace and say we're going to do 2 books a season, and say, but we don't have to do it necessarily in order. We just need to end up at the end of the second book, right? Book 2. So season 1 would be, all we have to do is get to the end of the Great Hunt, and just we can move the content around to make sense. And then it's like, we're going to get to the end of the Shadow Rising and move all the content around to make sense. Because you and I are at the beginning of the Shadow Rising right now, and it's like half this stuff you could weave out because we got Calendor, and it's like, these first 10 chapters we don't even do anything. So I mean,
you don't do anything.
Cross that out, right? and then
they're
go
important,
from there.
But I mean, if you're a showrunner, if you're writing this, I mean, one of the things I was thinking about as you were talking, the Great Hunt, it's like, God, what, I mean, they go on this epic hunt, and if we talk about, sometimes we try to parallel what we think those whether it's episode 6, those moments in this first season where they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger or something major. And originally in our speculation, we kind of thought, okay, stealing the Horn of Valier, like them finding it is like what? And then it's Pot on Fane, something happens to it. and you say in one episode we have to ride him down and take it back, and we end up through Portal Stone or whatever else they want to throw at us, traveling to Falma, you bypass Kyrian and some other really cool things.
Right.
Maybe. Who, I keep Tom Maryland in there the whole time. Don't have these like this side quest. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to shortchange the second book at all, because that's one of my favorites. I absolutely love the second book. And so it all just kind of, it just depends on how much they're going to, how much they want to weave in there together. And like you said, I think if they're trickling in new spring stuff and they're not just trying to get it all in, but it's like they're going to strategically place it when they need to do flashbacks. Like some of those new spring characters don't show up until the Great Hunt and the Dragon Reborn, and even later on.
Later.
And so yeah, you could just do flashbacks as they pop in. So
I mean, guys, all I can say is literally we got not even we got 16 seconds of audio, but really it was like we got 3 sentences, right? 3 like one not even a paragraph, like 3 lines. And now we're like drastically rethinking the entire thing. The entire thing. Like it's insane, it's amazing. So hey, thank you for watching with us, guys. Let us know, what did you think? What do you think? We've been on this thing with the Reddit community has been on this kind of, I think it's going to be this 2 books a season, right? With the episode titles. What do you guys think? Let us know, leave us a comment. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And guys, the horn sounded. I mean, it's go time. So remember that the grave is no bar to our call.